let's hear from the coach. This is Behind the Beard with Bobby Smirniotis, Forge FC head coach and sporting director. Now, the woman who takes us there, here's Mackenzie Barwell on the Forge Audio Network.
Forge fans, episode 4 of Behind the Beard. I am joined by head coach and sporting director Bobby Smirniotis today. Bobby, as always, thank you for taking the time. Of course, yesterday, not a favorable way to finish a match, but everyone back at work this morning. How are you feeling? How are the spirits in and around the locker room?
Yeah, obviously the way the match ended yesterday, nobody is happy. But you get in the next day, and you reflect, and you're ready to move on. This is the nature of sport and results. And last week we scored in injury time to give ourselves valuable 3 points in Ottawa. And here we've let some points go on the board. The only thing you can do is keep on working, take all the positives from the game yesterday. And again, we're creating a lot of opportunities, and we have to take that into our next match in Cavalry.
That game against Cavalry coming up this Saturday with so many games in such rapid succession. How do you prepare, getting video ready, training sessions planned, game plans, and all of that?
Yeah, it's important behind the scenes what the staff is doing. So from game to game, it's not just about training, but it's about having a proper schedule, and not only in this period where things are very congested, but it's something that we have planned from the beginning of the year how we work on the next matches. So that file is basically prepared by the time we finish last night, and then it gets presented this morning when we start working at it. Something a lot of these guys are used to. They've gone from playing a lot of games in succession, and that comes with being successful, with being in the semifinals in the Canadian Championship. It's something you have to be prepared for, and you'll get rest in the off season.
You've also got some great assistant coaches. Where did their roles kind of fall into this process, and how do you rely on them?
Yeah, everyone has their distinct role. Apart from the global work we do on the training field, each one of them has something separate, whether that's video analysis, whether that's preparing certain components of the training sessions to set pieces of the opponent and our set pieces. So that goes back into the planning stage. Everybody has their own responsibilities. So it's clear on a daily basis what everyone is doing, and I think that makes the process much easier, especially in times like this.
Have you been with these assistant coaches since the beginning?
Coach Jean Albert, he's been here since day one. He was very vital in the work he does with the goalkeepers and the video analysis. And then David Edgar has obviously been here since the beginning as a player and transitioned into a coach, and his responsibilities keep on growing year by year. And Coach Kit's in his third season. So we've got a group that's worked together now for many years. I think we're very comfortable with each other. We're honest with each other because that's important too. When things are going very well, when things aren't the best, and when things don't go well. I think that's the most important thing you need in the dynamic of coaches is honesty, and not each person telling each other what they actually want to hear.
Yeah.
But really, areas that we need to work on, and sometimes the most important thing to do that is when things are going well, because you can be fooled by results, but there could be some tendencies, some things going on in the games that need to be improved or need to be looked at, whether it's individual in the lines or as a collective, as a group. And I think that's one thing we do well as a staff.
So do you find that you're having these conversations on how to improve just as much now after a loss as you do when you have those consistent wins?
Yeah, I don't think we really change much from winning games to losing games. I'm not a coach, and I like the staff to stay that way of highs and lows. We like to stay somewhere in the middle. Because as I said earlier, you're part of sports, so there's 3 results in this game, and you have to be prepared for all 3 of them. What you have to do is strongly believe in your process, and I think that's one thing we've done as a staff over the years, is really believe in our process. We believe in the players and the football we're playing. Just like last night, we've created 7 excellent opportunities to score goals. Our opponent has scored on an own goal and a wonder strike in the 93rd, and that's part of football. But you'd rather be creating the chances than not be creating the chances. Now they just need to go in.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask, I'm curious, what was it like watching David Edgar kind of transition from a player to a coach? How have you seen him evolve and change?
Yeah, it's been an evolution from his first year. I think once you leave the player side and come to the coaches, it's about seeing how you fit, where your role is, and also a slight switch in mentality. And sometimes that's that's the toughest challenge. As a player, you see things in a certain way, and then as a coach, it takes you a while to see a lot of things in a different way, in a more global view. Right. And I think that's where he's grown over his time period, is really taking a step back and, sometimes not thinking of things in the moment as players do, but really taking a global view of, what a certain situation means for the team, what it means for the team dynamic, what it means for the change room. And I think that's the biggest lessons off the field that someone gets when they transition, because on the field you learn every day. You learn every day from picking up from the coaches, from having responsibilities in training, working closely with us, and then off the field it's all about the man management, and it's one way how you manage things as a player, and it's different how you manage things as a coach, and I think he's grown a lot in that aspect.
You, alongside your assistant coaches, have clearly built such a strong relationship with the players, not only this season, but over the course of the last 4, almost 5 years now. What do you think separates a successful coach versus one who struggles to make an impact with players?
I think the most important thing is to be honest with the players. In their good days and their bad days. Try and have good, positive communication. As coaches, sometimes, yes, we're going to be tough on them. Sometimes we're going to be a little bit lighter in the way we approach things. Most importantly, I think players have to understand that the coaches have their backs. We believe in them. They're all here on us making that decision. There is no director on top of me or so on who's out there signing these players and putting them on the field. Us collectively as a staff, we're responsible for bringing the players in. So when we've signed the player, it has our approval, and that's one thing that's always important for players to understand is we have their back. We've brought them in here to compete. We've brought them in here to play a brand of football that we believe they can have success in. And I think your work every day. One thing I say to all the staff is, on a daily basis, we must be at the top of our game. Because then that also gains the respect of that locker room, of the players. And they also know that on a daily basis, if we're putting in the effort, they have to match our effort, and we expect them to be a little bit higher than that. But if we're not showing the effort, if we're not showing the organization, whether that's training, video, and so on, that always gives players an ability to ease off on a few days. And that's one thing I think we do successfully here is we make sure that we've got things as organized as we can on and off the field for the players, and that means they have to work.
You mentioned now that there is no director above you, and you have full control over player signing. What's the approach to that and player development now, especially after such a successful 4 or 5 years with Forge?
Yeah, well, to be honest, not a lot has changed before the role right now. There was obviously Kostas Merniotis, who was here, my older brother, and we did everything together in the signing of players and the decision-making process and so on. So even before and today, that process is the same. We have ultimate decision-making on the players right now, and even in the first 4 years, we always loop in the staff on different things that we're looking at in the players and keep them in the process. And I think that's important because we're able to build a team in our vision and the way we want to be able to play. And there's a common philosophy within the whole organization. And I think that always makes, I don't want to say it easy, it's never easy putting together a team, but at least we're very directed in the way we look at players.
Yeah, more coherent.
Yes.
I think my last question for you would be, you already talked about kind of that unfortunate series of events with the deflection being the first goal yesterday and then the strike from 35 yards out. How do you keep the spirits up with the players? How do you kind of encourage them to move on and have that mentality shift going into Saturday?
Yeah, well, I think right after the game, it's you mentioned that we've done a lot of good things in the game, and sometimes that's football. You can never think that you're invincible and that everything is given to you. You got to work hard throughout the match. You have to take your opportunities in these games. And yesterday we had our opportunities to score goals, and we have to look at the positive components of what we're doing, and we're doing a lot of positives up to this moment. And of course, you've got a quick turnaround, and that's part of this game. And sometimes to get over something that comes so late in the game, the best thing is to just get back into another game. As I said, our philosophy is not to get too excited with a win and not to get too low with a loss, and that kind of keeps a steady head within the locker room, keeps everyone as focused as possible. And I think that starts with us as the staff, and it permeates to the players, and that's kind of the mentality that we have from them. And that's what I've seen today walking in there. Everyone's in generally a good mood. The game is done, and they know we've got to prepare for this next one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you, Bobby. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
This has been Behind the Beard with Mackenzie Barwell and Bobby Smyrniotis. If you like what you heard, please like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share.